It's now time for the Pony Cake Sports Podcast with your hosts, Josh Stevens, Tim Thompson, and Tom Schultz. Woo!
Schmeevens, who cares? He is not here. I am your host this evening, Tim Thompson, with, as always, one Tom Schultz, and our special guest for the evening, an OG of the program, one Michael Agent. Michael,
Woo!
how are you, bud?
Good, yourself?
Living the dream, as
No one
always.
cares about you. Nobody cares.
Wow, dick move.
Pretty accurate though, Mike. I'm glad you are here, Mike.
Yes.
Kind of sucks. Tim's kind of ruining
Whoa.
our little moment right now.
Wow.
I wish Josh was here, but he's busy with doing lube shopping with Chad Kelly in Denver. But it's a great day. Pony Cake Studios. Josh's wife Becca is upstairs making us some fucking protein pancakes. I'm doing a couple lines of Rogue Energy. I'm wired. I'm ready to go.
Speaking of Josh's fiance Becca, she made these
Here we
beef sandwiches one time. Holy, it was just a pot crot recipe, but oh my god, I wanted to have like 15 of them. I could not believe it. It was
I believe
so
what Mike was
so
trying
good.
to say was a crock pot. I'm not sure what a pot crock is.
Yeah,
But
sorry,
yes,
yeah.
Whatever.
a crock pot beef sandwich.
It was so good.
We're starting off hot here in the Pony Cake Sports Studios. Like I said, I am your host for the evening, Tim Thompson, joined by Tom Schultz and Michael Agent. We are Pony Cake Sports. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at Pony Cake Sports. If you have any questions, you want to ask about the draft, you want a question for football, whatever you want to do, make sure you email us, ponycakesports@gmail.com. You can follow Josh on Twitter and his adventures all over the West Coast and lube shopping with Chad Kelly, like Tom alluded to. He is at Pony Cake Sports. Tom is at Pony_Keg_Tom. You can follow me at Fight Talk Tim and Michael R. Agent 13 on Twitter.
No,
Look
not-
at that.
no 13.
No 13. Michael R. Agent. Look at that. He does a lot of anime porn on his feed. So
Tentacle.
beware of that.
Tentacle.
Super awkward. He's a weird individual. But you know what? We've done our standard episodes this week, and there was a question, hey, are we going to meet up again? Are we going to do another episode? Because we've been at like the two episode a week type deal. We've had 2 hour-long episodes this week. It's been a great week, but there's a lot going on in the National Football League today, and we thought, you know what, since Josh isn't here, let's actually have fun. Josh is normally the negative Nancy of the group, doesn't want to hang out, doesn't want to have fun.
Dude, routine.
Yep.
Routine.
It's very, very weird. Josh is like just a really downer individual at times. I love him to death, but that Jay Cutler SOB, he's not here, so we're gonna do what we want to do. We're doing a third episode, so it's NFL talk today. I normally start with Tom and say, Tom, what's on your mind? How are you feeling? How's your wife? But today, Michael Agent has a topic for us. He said he wants to start off the show. He wants to start it off hot. So, Mike, I'm gonna give the floor to you, sir.
So, we live in the Chicagoland area.
There we go.
I am a Green Bay fan. I am the official beat writer for Green Bay of the PKS crew. And
Who has written nothing ever?
Oh, no.
Carry on.
So anyways, I scour the Reddits and I look around, and this Chicago Reddit, the Chicago Bears official subreddit, had this golden gem that I just wanted to bring. I sent it to Tom. I did not send it to Tim because I didn't want him to know what it was. And I'm just going to read very quickly. There's 3 posts.
Okay.
It's gold, and I just want the PKS listeners to hear this. So, it starts off, I think the Bears make the playoffs behind the Vikings. I really think this is a turning point season for the Packers. I think they're going to look lackluster, dull, and low energy. They'll miss the playoffs, fire Mike McCarthy, and then trade Rodgers for picks. Just smash that rebuild button. Now, follow that up. Someone comments on top of that. Don't stop. I'm so close. That guy's about to come, by the way. Follow that up. Rodgers ends the year in a Vikings uniform, face up in the turf with a Bears linebacker standing over top of him, giving me a new picture frame for my dad's sports room. That is the Bears subreddit top post right now. just wanted. So that's the NFL in a nutshell. The Bears are the Bears, and I love life. That was a gaffe for me to not only narrate
Tom, go
the
ahead.
crew.
I'm tired of listening to this shit. Go ahead.
I got nothing, Tim.
So, listen.
It's funny.
It's very funny. It's not serious. It's funny. Let's move
It's
on.
funny. It proves. No, I'm not going to move on. I'm not going to move on. I'm going to say a couple things. Number one, people on the internet are dumb assholes. And more importantly,
Accurate.
Bears fans suck. I am not oblivious to that. I am one of the very few that has told all of you over and over and over again that Mitchell Trubisky is overrated. He should not have been drafted where he was. That the Bears defense is going to come back to reality here in the 2018 season. That the Bears are going to struggle to win 6 or 7 games this year. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't feel the need to defend myself anymore. Packers are the cream of the crop right now. Listen, I don't have anything to think about the Packers besides the respect that I've shown them to this point until they need a new quarterback again. They're going to eventually have to pull that horseshoe out of their ass. They're not going to find another quarterback to guide them through the next decade and a half like they have over the last 3 decades. So
It's been very, very lucky for the Packers to be able to do
And
this.
you know what? If you want me to make a bold Bears statement, I'll say it this way: Mike McCarthy's a bad coach. I'll say that. Mike McCarthy is a bad football coach. Mike McCarthy has Mike McCarthy has survived on his quarterback and defensive coordinators.
What? He had one defensive coordinator,
Yeah, exactly.
and he sucked.
I'd go
let's
more.
let's
I'd
move
go
on.
more along the lines of Aaron Rodgers has saved him. Some could say it's a similar situation to why, like my team with Chuck Pagano, why he had his job for so long because he had a great quarterback in Andrew Luck.
Let's move on.
The Packers, in my opinion, have underachieved. They should have more than one Super Bowl with Aaron
They
Rodgers.
only have one.
But you could also blame their
could look at
GM
any-
with Thompson.
Not only that, but you can look at any team in history. We have been spoiled by
Time
the
out.
Yeah.
We have been spoiled by the Patriots.
Nope.
Yeah.
Who else has spoiled
Never.
us like that?
If you have 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks for 3 decades and only have 2 Super Bowls to show for it, you are a failure. Sorry.
Besides the
Sorry.
besides the 49ers and the Patriots,
Cowboys had a good 3-year stretch.
That's a very good
That's about
three.
it.
The Bills, that guy lost all 4
Since
times.
1985, the Packers only have 1 more Super Bowl championship than the Bears.
Jesus Christ.
That's a fact.
So now-
That's embarrassing.
Since 1966, the Packers only have 3 more Super Bowl
that's-
championships than the Chicago Bears.
And how many Hall of Fame quarterbacks have the Bears had since? We're not getting into this. This is a full league show. My point is, if you have 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks for 3 decades, I would expect more. If it were the Bears, if the Bears had 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks for 3 decades, don't tell me that you wouldn't be saying they should have more Super Bowl championships, because you would.
I would. Yeah.
They underachieved. That's
I'm not
a
a liar.
fact.
I'm not a liar.
Our generation is just spoiled by
It's
the
very
Patriots.
spoiled. Yeah.
Goddamn millennials. Let's move on here. Let's talk about some of the hot topics in the NFL right now. The first one I want to talk about one of the top draft picks, Sam Darnold. I'm super high on him. Tom and Josh, not so much. Mike, I'm not sure where your allegiances lie, in all honesty, but Josh Norman came out. They had their dual practices, and Josh Norman was extremely, extremely impressed by one Sam Darnold. I want to read the quote here real quick. Josh Norman said, "Dog it, this little kid is not making mistakes. You get rookies in here and try and mess with them and bait them a little bit, and he's not having it. He's impressed me. I didn't want him to." I think that's a huge compliment.
Super huge. And after the first preseason game, what I was worried about with Darnold is he's so tall and lanky. He's got a very, very long arm. And normally when quarterbacks do that, they throw above their head, which dips the ball down, which they throw short or very high over. Now, if you look at Sam Darnold's release from the first preseason game, we don't know much more than that. He dips his shoulder down and keeps that ball below his helmet, It is a super tight and clean release. I love what I see so far, and Norman is echoing that.
Tom, I'm very curious to hear your thoughts.
It was one preseason game. It's good that he's doing this. I have not been a big-time believer in Darnold. I had big-time issues with his mechanics in college, with a lot of his decision-making. Turned the football over way too much the last 2 seasons at USC. But it's good for the Jets. It's good that he's come out and he's been sharp like this. His first preseason game, he didn't even throw for 100 yards. It was a good performance by him, but I want to see more.
Do you think Bridgewater makes the team?
He shouldn't. I don't think they should have 3 quarterbacks, but
it bothers me that you won't give credit where credit is due.
I said it was a good first preseason game.
To have a
He's
veteran,
still my QB3.
To have a veteran come out there, and it's not so much the preseason game; it's the practice. It's everything that they're
practice.
Yeah, I'm
We talking about practice?
I'm talking about practice in the preseason. Signs are pointing up, and those are things that aren't. Let's talk about that brawl a little bit.
Which one?
There's
been a lot.
Jets Redskins, the big one. When it spilled over into the fans,
Yeah.
some guy had a thing where his daughter was standing right there. He posted that she was crying for hours. Luckily, no one got hurt. I'm all for brawls, whether it's preseason, regular season. I don't care. I'm all for that. But things got real ugly.
It's just normal football, normal camp crap.
Yeah.
But the coaches, you don't see a team like the New England Patriots getting into brawls like that. They understand what these dual training camp sessions are about.
Because Belichick's been avoiding fights since his childhood.
It's because he's a good coach and he
Yeah.
tells these guys, "Hey, if you get in a fight, you're getting cut.
You're cut.
It's that simple. Football, yeah, it's a violent football game.
And if you don't convert your salary into a signing bonus, you're cut.
There's no reason to be getting in a fight. I get it. There was always, we played football. You know, you'd get into it with people. Your teammates. They're playing. It's extremely hot outside. They're at camp all day and they're beating the crap out of each other. Now they're finally facing other people, non-teammates. But there's a time and a place. They should not be fighting here.
Especially with the fans. When it bleeds over that big, you gotta eventually pull the plug, and you gotta remember that you're a professional, and you have to act accordingly. And there'll be consequences for the people. There'll be plenty of it, but it's football, and this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
I mean, my thought is, number one, especially when it bleeds over into the fans, you heard that the fans then they were trying to start stuff, which it makes sense if you're there for your team. But like you're in pads. Like, what do you? It's all stupid.
Mm-hmm.
The whole fighting in football pads is just dumb. Makes no sense to me whatsoever.
It comes. I'm sorry to cut you off. I know you want to move on, but it comes to human instinct. You're fight or flight, and these guys are trained to fight.
Oh yeah.
And that's what they're going to do, whether you're punching somebody in the helmet or whatever it is. I mean, hell, look at Ray Rice. I'm just joking. Continue on.
Too soon.
Yeah, close to too soon, for sure. But let's move on here. I want to talk about, and I don't want to get into Bears-Packers talk, Michael, but the big story this week, Roquan Smith, finally, the last first-round draft pick, signs with the Chicago Bears. Apparently it was something along the lines of, it's like a 3-strike, you're out type rule. If it's something extremely egregious.
No, it's if the NFL suspends him for 3 or more games.
Right, so a 3-strike rule. If he got suspended for 3 games for on the field hits, it all came down to the Bears trying to protect themselves in if they drafted a perfect rule is what it came down to. It's all semantics, really. I mean, no one besides Perfect over the last decade has had this type of issue. So it's just all dumb. It's just stupid. I don't think it'll necessarily affect Roquan throughout his career or even this season. He's going to start Week 1 against the Packers. I have no doubt about that.
Oh yeah.
What are you guys thoughts about Roquan?
What's the owner? McCaskey? Is that the
McCaskey
owners?
family.
Yep.
McCaskey family. They're penny pitchers. They want to protect their team no matter what. They've had so much cap space for how many years. The team hasn't performed, and they don't care. And finally, the stands are not being filled, and they need their money. So they said, you know what, number 58, you're going to put butts in the seats. We're going to pay you no matter what. And
Mike, I'm going to stop you. You've said a lot of dumb things in your life.
I love Mike's Packers-Bears takes.
None of the things,
they get you so pissed.
None of the things that you just said are even remotely true.
You don't think the Bears are cheap? I think that.
They are.
The Bears are cheap, but wait. None of this had to do anything with money. That's where other teams in the leagues are dumb. It's a slotted salary, you morons. His salary was set.
It does have something to do with money.
Absolutely.
Because if he got the penalties, they could have taken his signing bonus.
Yeah.
This had nothing to do with money. This had to do with other teams in the league pressuring the Chicago Bears and saying, don't give in to these agencies and what they want. That's what this was. This was a political and NFL, and with the CBA coming up in a matter of 3 years, I agree with you. The McCaskies are cheap. The Bears will not be good again until old lady McCaskey dies. That bitch is going to live till she's 175 years old.
Nothing to do with the success of the Chicago Bears.
I disagree with you.
No.
I feel like
I'm so pissed.
As a fan of this team and what she's willing to do in terms of spending money and going after free agents.
They spent a lot of money this free agency.
You're totally missing the point. This year, yes, they're paying out of Allen Robinson was their big sign. Name another time over that you've seen the Bears go after the Brandon
Julius
Marshall
Peppers.
Trade.
Brandon Marshall.
Julius Peppers wasn't. They could get out of it early.
That was a big time deal, though.
Guaranteed money. What the family has to guarantee to pay. The Chicago Bears don't do it. Virginia McCaskey is 112 years old.
It's false.
She's
not 112.
She is.
No, she's not.
She's close.
She has nothing to do with the daily operations of the Bears and who they sign.
Tom, I will tell you this. I am only 30 years old.
I like Mike's takes on the Chicago Bears.
I have cheered for the Chicago Bears my entire life. I truly believe that when I'm like 90, God forbid I live that long, I'll die way sooner. Well, when I'm 90, Virginia McCaskey will be 210. And the Bears will still be living in football purgatory. It's awful.
So let's be here. The Bears, after this great offseason of signings, and they brought in all these people to do so, they still have $23 million in cap space.
Colts have 51.
That's kind of a rebuild.
But what?
That team's
What
a
do you
rebuild.
think the Bears are doing?
The Bears have been in a rebuild for 5 years. They need to be done with it. Let's move on. They get your quarter. Oh, hey, Jeremy, long draft.
I don't even know what he's saying. I don't even know what he's doing.
I love the Bill. God, the Bears Packers talk.
Anyways, the point is the McCaskies are cheap.
But it doesn't have to do with Raekwon's contract.
No, it absolutely does. Because his suspensions can... there was a guy that just got suspended recently. I'm sorry, I can't remember.
Vincente Perfect.
No, it wasn't him. And it was a guy that...
You're talking about last year?
No, he just got suspended in practice. He hit somebody and got suspended during practice.
Dante Fowler?
Oh, my God. I want to hit pause on the record.
Anyways, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let you look stupid because I don't like you.
He just got suspended for Jaguars.
Yeah, Dante Fowler.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It
was Jalen Ramsey who got suspended.
Jalen
Ramsey got suspended.
Stop. Can I help you? Let me help you.
He got suspended for his comments.
Jalen Ramsey came out and defended Dante Fowler.
Yeah.
Anyways, Jalen Ramsey got suspended for a week, and that is going to save the Jaguars $6 million.
No, it's not. No. Now I want to pause it. That's not.
It's not accurate.
You think he got suspended one preseason game, and the Jaguars saved $6 million?
You want to? I'll look it up. You guys continue on. I'm going to do my little Google.
The little Google. This episode's horrendous.
Josh is gonna listen to this episode and be like, "My goodness gracious,
We're still posting this."
We are, because we're not like Josh. We're not like those hidden gems. My point is, Roquan Smith is signed. I'm glad it's over with. He will start week 1, and he will be wearing that C on his chest.
Were you? Let's keep it real right here. Let's keep it 100, Tim.
Yes.
Were you embarrassed as a Bears fan for this whole fiasco going on?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
I feel like this is something that once a year you hear about this.
Yeah.
You go back to Bosa last year, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Same agency.
Yep.
You know, these things happen. If it would have gotten to the point where, listen, I was right on the edge. I thought that if he wasn't in the camp last Monday, I got real nervous. In fact, it's signed, it's done, it's over with. I'm okay with it. He's going to play the third. He might play into the 4th preseason game. I wouldn't want it. Now, if he gets injured and like one of the preseason stuff or whatever, and then it's, you know, he misses the first week, 6 weeks of the season or something, then, yeah, I'm going to be embarrassed. But this is something you see all the time. And I guarantee you, I promise both of you this, next year, with the CBA coming so close to a head, you're going to see this again.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to see stuff like this again, so be prepared for it. I'm just happy that Roquan Smith is in camp for the Bears, gets to put Aaron Rodgers on his ass here coming up in week 1. Let's talk about the Packers a little bit. Talked about Aaron. Let's keep the controversy flowing. The Packers trade deadline for the NFL is in October, I believe, first week or second week of October. Khalil Mack. And one of the betting websites out there, where will he end up after the trade deadline passes? The favorite right now on one betting website is the Green Bay Packers. Not even the Las Vegas or Oakland Raiders. Guys, where does Khalil Mack end up? I think this whole story is this is extremely weird to me.
This situation, the Rams situation with Aaron Donald is...
That's close, I hear. I hear that one's close.
Yeah, and Sean McVay came out and said he doesn't know where that beat writer heard that from, or the source got that from. So that's kind of making it sound like
Sean
it's...
McVay don't know shit.
I'm sure he does. He's a little boy wonder. His girlfriend's hot as hell. But
Sean McVay's girlfriend's actually still in high school. Well-known fact.
But this situation with Khalil Mack, I'm not surprised with how John Gruden coming to town. He came out and the NFL Network asked him about it. And he said, well, our defense with Khalil Mack sucked last year. So it pretty much making it sound like he doesn't care, that he has other priorities, and that he doesn't think Khalil Mack makes that big of a difference. And Mack's going to command $20+ million as an edge rusher. That's a lot of money. That's quarterback-type money right there. And teams cannot pay that many players that type of money unless they're severely lacking at other positions. So if I had to pick a team besides the Raiders, it probably would be the Packers. But the only reason that's because they have 2 first-round picks next year. But what else would they have to give up? That's the big-time question. It seems like there's reports saying that they would have to give a good player as well, along with those 2 first-round picks. But if I'm the Packers and you could get that deal done, that's a game-changing move for that team. They need a better pass rusher. Clay Matthews is not the answer. Nick Perry's situational pass rusher at best. He shouldn't have been paid that much money. And you got Aaron Rodgers, who's good enough to lead you to a Super Bowl, but you need someone that can get some stops on the defensive side of the football, and that's something they have not been able to do.
Listen, as a non-biased football fan, I can tell you the Green Bay Packers would be dumb not to. Tom, we've talked about it here at length. The 2 most important positions in the NFL, quarterback and pass rusher. Yep. If you have one of the top 3 quarterbacks and one of the top 3 pass rushers, you are setting your team up to succeed. That is where your money should be heavily invested. If you're the Green Bay Packers, you are happily giving up both of your first-round draft picks. You are happily giving up whoever, I don't care if it's a Randall Cobb. I don't care if it's one of your, maybe not one of your young corners, but one of your veteran corners, one of your linemen. I don't care. They signed Muhammad Wilkerson in the offseason, which I believe was a 1 year with a 1 year option as well. I mean,
they're in win now mode.
Right now, in the 2018 season, you have a healthy Aaron Rodgers, You have a Devontae Adams in his prime. You have 3 running backs that are interchangeable. You have a secondary that is the best secondary Aaron Rodgers has ever played with in his career. And you can have a Muhammad Wilkerson to stop the run and a Khalil Mack to get after the quarterback. You are a Super Bowl contending team. Do it.
The Packers should look back to their past when they had to sign the Secretary of Defense, Reggie White. When they made that
Never heard of him.
big, bold signing, and that changed that franchise, got them a Super Bowl. They need that right now. Right now, according to SpotRack, they have $6.4 million in cap space as of this moment. There's different ways to make that larger. He's obviously going to need...
The player or players that they send back would help alleviate a little bit of that.
Yes, and there's ways to get around that cap right now, but if they trade for him, they're going to have to extend him, and that's going to be $20 million per year, along with the $30 million a year they're paying Aaron Rodgers after this season as well, most likely.
Well, and that's the big problem is right now the Packers' main focus is extending Aaron Rodgers' contract.
Yes,
which is going to command more money. That's what typical teams do. Yep. Don't shake your head, Tim.
I'll explain in a minute. Go ahead.
I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm saying it's what teams do. So to add Khalil Mack, the Packers have to offload other players. That would mean Clay Matthews, Nick Perry, which would be, for me, good. Gone. If Clay Matthews can't move to the inside and accept that role, then I don't want him on my team. Nick Perry, the guy can't stay healthy and he's not really worth the money. So to have Mack come in and fill that void, and you get to extend Aaron Rodgers and add Khalil Mack, great. What the extra cost is, first round picks, I don't even care about that. You can score. Look what the Seahawks have done for years. They haven't had a first round pick in years, except for what they did this last.
And now they're struggling because they have no depth, though.
Right.
This is why I hate the Green Bay Packers. This is why. This isn't difficult. We just said, and it's known everywhere, the 2 most important positions, quarterback and pass rusher. If you can have 2 of the best in their prime, would any other team in the NFL deny paying them? No. All the other options are filled. And beyond that, you just signed 2 fantastic corners through the NFL draft. What do you have to worry about? This is idiotic. If you were a Packers fan and you were doubting this, and you're saying, well, I don't want to lose my 2 first-round draft picks, you're a moron. Yeah. You should be a Chicago Bears fan because you are a stupid-ass person.
And it really comes down to what are the Raiders actually asking for? Will they take those players and their salaries?
Listen, there's literally no way that the Raiders are asking more than 2 first-round draft picks and a player. Like that's not how the NFL works. That's like the ceiling in the NFL. That's the ceiling. He's going to be a free agent. They don't want him. They're not going to pay him. That's the ceiling. The Packers could probably get away with 1 of the first-round draft picks. In all honesty.
Yeah, the rumors I've heard is the first and then the second next year.
It was fine. Mm-hmm. What is the question? That's what I don't understand.
It comes down to money.
Who cares? You're gonna have to pay them.
Well, no. Because you don't know what Khalil Mack is.
You do. You're good.
No, you don't. Because the Raiders have the Raiders have not been able to solidify that. So you don't know what when you get Khalil Mack, is he still going to hold out for you?
Mike, if I were to tell you,
that's what I'm saying. There's a question mark. That's all I'm saying.
The only question mark on Khalil Mack is he going to refuse to play for your team? Like, does he have a team in his head that he wants to go play for? Right. If it's strictly about money,
that's all it is.
Then there's no question. If you're the Green Bay Packers, you're saying, hey, you know what? Going into 2019, Aaron Rodgers and Khalil Mack are getting top contracts. Aaron Rodgers is going to be the highest paid quarterback, and Khalil Mack is going to be one of the highest paid edge rushers. End of story. If you're a Green Bay Packers fan and you don't accept that, you're an idiot. You're dumb. You're just dumb.
But you brought out that question mark. We don't know what Khalil Mack was. And the Green Bay Packers are not allowed to talk to Mack. They're not.
Well,
They're not.
They're not, but if they're engaged in trade talks, they can talk through the grapevine. They can talk.
Yes, of course.
What is he wanting? What is he? They can talk to his agent, saying, "Is he willing to play for other teams?" I mean, they can still. No, they can't talk to and say. They can't interfere and say, well, "How much does he want a year?" No, they can't do that. But they can find out open-ended questions. It's just any team, and it doesn't just go directly to the Green Bay Packers. Every single team in the NFL should be building their team around quarterback and pass rusher. If the Chicago Bears were to get a Khalil Mack right now, I'm having a hard time cheering for my team. If they found a way to bring in a Khalil Mack, if they gave up their first-round pick next year, and I don't care who else, as long as it's not Roquan Smith, I am over the moon. That is what you want. At least then your team has a plan. Pass rusher is the most important thing on your team outside of a quarterback. End of story. Now I'm all heated. Damn.
Fire up.
It has been a lot of Packers and Bears talk. That's what happens when Mike is around. Let's talk about
Mike and Tim.
It's a new podcast coming to you soon here on the Pony Kick Sports Network. Let's talk about Big Ben. Gets power bombed onto his head. He is now in the concussion protocol. Apparently it was real bad. I haven't seen the clip yet, but he was roughed up real good from what I hear. And in the concussion protocol, they don't know when he's coming back.
Terrible. If you allow your quarterback to get a concussion in practice...
We talking about practice?
I just don't understand. I haven't seen the clip. I don't know what the drill was. But yeah, all the reports are saying that it looked bad and that he might be off a couple days, if not longer. That's sad.
If he's in the concussion protocol, that's a couple weeks, I believe.
Yeah, he won't play Thursday against the Packers.
No.
He probably won't play week 3. He probably won't play week 4. So he's going to get plenty of time to get his brain healthy. It's very unfortunate, and whoever hit him is I would not like to be that guy.
No, I can't imagine Mike Tomlin is very thrilled right now. I don't understand. Honestly, I don't understand how any team runs a training camp where they just don't say, "You are not allowed to hit our quarterback." If you have a franchise quarterback,
it's a red shirt.
You can't hit him.
He's red-shirted.
There's a red shirt, but there has to be something else. Like, just don't hit. I don't care. Make it a flag. Put a flag on him.
You should have common sense.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Let's move on here. Let's talk about Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant meeting with the Cleveland Browns this week. And let's make it simple here. Tom, yes or no, he signs with the Browns?
Yes, and I can't wait till the 3rd episode of Hard Knocks when he's on it. It'll be fantastic. Him and Juice Jarvis Landry blessing cornerbacks out there, throwing balls at their faces. It'll be a great day in Cleveland.
Mike, yes or no?
Sign him. Yeah,
yes or no?
Put a stamp. Playoff.
You are a jackass. You mentioned there, you alluded to it, Jarvis Landry during training camp, I believe on Tuesday. He gets tackled by Terrence Mitchell. They're jawing at each other. He stands up, whips the football at his head. Jarvis Landry's hot. Obviously, is known for his Hard Knocks Week 1, I think, episode. Week 1 or Week 2? Week 1 episode.
Yeah.
He gives that speech that's being, I think it's terrible, but he gives that speech that everyone's talking about, everyone's all about, and he kind of talks his wide receivers up, builds it up, everyone's all about him. Feels like I think Jarvis Landry might be a little bit Hollywood now.
He's a company man. You know, it's kind of been proven that when you have those soft tissue injuries, it's kind of dumb just to keep playing through them instead of getting completely healthy. He's doing pretty much the coach's work. That's what coaches should be telling their players. I like the speech. You know, it kind of ramped me up. I was ready to go play wide receiver for the Browns. I just like Jarvis Landry as a player, as a person. But yeah, I think he was acting it up a little bit.
Big time. I think everything. I think
the scene before that, he was saying he's more of a he's not much of a vocal leader. He's more of just lead by example, and then he did that. So
there's last year in our fantasy league, I highly wanted him, got him on my team, and then noticed he didn't have halfway through the season. Noticed he didn't have a C on his chest. I thought that was very weird in Miami. Started hearing all the stuff that they wanted to get rid of him. And then he gets traded or let go or released, whatever. Did he get traded, whatever it was?
Traded.
To Cleveland. And it's the same thing. And I watched that speech and I went, man, you suck at speeches. This is horrible. But you are a fantastic player, but you are an awful person.
To be fair, think about giving that speech. Now, not that there was a quarterback in the room during that speech, but giving that speech to players who have to play with Jay Cutler. Those guys probably wouldn't be buying it either, to be fair. Let's move on. The San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, Jerick McKinnon, the injury bug may or may not have bitten him. We're waiting to see how serious that was. They said it was a week, but kind of interesting how that'll all play out. Yep. But one Alfred Morris rode hard, put away wet. His days there behind one Ezekiel Elliott during his pardon me?
And DeMarco Murray.
Yeah. I mean, his whole career essentially has been rode hard, put away wet, waiting on good players to come in there. What are your thoughts on Morris signing with the Niners?
When he was in Washington under Kyle Shanahan, that was when he had his 2 best seasons. He knows the scheme. He knows the lingo, the wordage, the verbiage, all of that mumbo jumbo. I think the signing makes complete sense. Yep. Worst case, he's just a goal line back, which kind of sucks for McKinnon, but they really didn't have a big physical running back who is known for being great in between the tacklers. They got McKinnon, Matt Breida, Joe Williams. All those guys are kind of the same running back. 5'9" to 5'11", 205, 210 pounds, smaller type guy. Alfred Morris is that more physical guy, high BMI, more physical, ran well in Dallas last year behind a good offensive line, but I think he's still got some juice left.
Absolutely. And like you said, Tom, he knows the system, and he's going to be able to produce. And that's why you sign that guy. You're not too confident in your backups, so you bring that veteran in either to make the underdogs produce more, or to bring that guy in that is actually going to produce. And I think we agree on this, where he's going to produce. And it's not going to be somewhere you want him on your fantasy team, but he's going to do very well on that team.
We'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. Let's talk about Jon Gruden, what he's doing in Oakland. He's done a lot of interesting things, but the most interesting to me is he has moved, I believe, previous Pro Bowl left tackle Donald Penn, who adjusted his pay to make sure he didn't get cut, moved him to right tackle, and put rookie Colton Miller at left tackle. I know you alluded to the offensive line in previous talks, Tom. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm scared to death of Colton Miller right now on that offensive line. I think he's going to get someone killed. Not a big fan of him. In college, thought his tape was pretty bad. Thought at best case scenario was a 3rd-round pick, and they took him mid-first. Not a big fan of the decision from Gruden.
So I recently started rewatching Dexter. Now in Dexter season 2, there's a character named Rita, which just messes things up. She makes Dexter break up with his girlfriend. In his life is just going. He's getting accused of being a serial killer, and things aren't just looking good for Dexter. That's what Jon Gruden is to the Oakland Raiders. He's Rita. It is awful. He was not a good head coach. There's reason why he was unemployed, except for ESPN for years. Look at his record. He's the John Fox of the NFL head coaches. He is not good. Stay away from him. The Oakland Raiders are going to struggle under him, and that is all I have to say. That's a hot take. Hot take.
Very hot take indeed. Let's move on to, I know we mentioned the injury a little bit earlier to Big Ben Roethlisberger. I want to talk about some of the other injuries here. Darius Geis goes down, torn ACL. Sony Michel, who knows if he's going to start week 1. Devontae Parker has got a broken finger that could potentially linger throughout the season. And Saquon Barkley had a hammy, I believe, that was wrapped up. Everything seems to be okay there, but the injuries right now, what do you think?
Yeah, my top 3 rookie running backs have all been banged up. Geis, I was absolutely heartbroken when I heard that news. Big time fan of him. Love his play style. Dude's awesome on social media. He's just he's making the Washington community better right now, and I was really looking forward to cheering for him this season. Sony Michel, hopefully he gets back healthy. You know, the fantasy community is kind of doubting him now. Burkhead's being drafted before him. His ADP's dropping like crazy. I'm still a believer. I think his skill set is absolutely perfect in New England. Hopefully he can play week 3 or 4, get him a little bit of reps. Probably be rusty. Saquon, not worried about it. The coaches said they weren't worried about it. I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, just keep watching it. You'll see, even if you just watch a simple ADP site, you'll see exactly what these injuries actually mean. Sony Michel went down to 7'10". We talked about that earlier. That's going to grow as his injury isn't as much of a concern. And Saquon Barkley, I'm not concerned about his hamstring at all. Yeah, just watch the news, and you'll know exactly what's going on and be fine.
We have to wait and see how that all plays out. Let's go to something a little bit more interesting. The Denver Broncos.
Ugh.
Denver Broncos, Paxton Lynch has had his GoFundMe started because they want him off the team so bad. Chad Kelly, guy Josh is going door to door with selling lube. It's an interesting team. But they gave their rookies some haircuts.
Oh,
have you guys seen these haircuts?
Yeah.
I saw Chubb's.
Outrageous. What are your thoughts? Do you think that we're like a year or two away? We don't see these anymore at all. Like it's just completely outlawed because it's like bullying.
It's good bonding. I remember in high school we'd do this crap, and it was always a good time. It's in good fun. One of these years, there's gonna be some Zach Martin pussy that gets drafted by a team, and he gets his haircut and he shoots up an NFL team.
Wow.
That will probably happen.
Look at Des Bryant when he was a rookie. He refused to.
Yeah.
The Dallas Cowboys tradition is you carry the veterans' pads to the locker room, and he threw his veterans' pads to the ground and said, I ain't carrying
and
that.
Then they gave him a $180,000 bill at the restaurant since he didn't do that.
Yeah.
So I think it's fine. It's good tradition, builds camaraderie a little bit, and it shows the pecking order right away, and that you got to earn your spot on this football team, and everyone else did it. It's like when they have to sing. Shit's funny. Who gives? Everyone makes themselves look stupid.
It's a funny haircut.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Especially in the NFL. And actually, in our group, we have a group meeting for our fantasy league. There was a picture of Tom during our actual haircut trip.
Yeah.
Where they shaved a mohawk on Tom, and he was so skinny. He was so slim, and he had this cute little mohawk and this cute little smile, and it's just a tradition that goes from simple things that we did in high school to the NFL, and those pros really need to prove themselves that they can stand and take the punches.
I feel like the overbearing nature of the league at times. Listen, if it came to a physical violent thing where people take over at the top, that's one thing, but demanding people shave something in their head or something, I agree with you guys. It's a part of the camaraderie. That's part of letting guys blow steam off. It just takes their mind off of. I get that it's a game it's a kids game that they're making millions of dollars off of, but it cannot be denied the toll that they put on their body while doing it. The last thing I have for you, I think it's a very interesting kind of stat, if you would. Do either of you, can you guys guess how many left-handed quarterbacks are in the National Football League right now?
0.
Percentage?
No. How many left-handed quarterbacks are in the National Football League right now?
0.
1.
It's 0. Can you name the last player?
Des Bryant.
Oh, you already saw this.
No.
Des Bryant was the last left-handed player to throw a touchdown pass in the NFL. Pretty crazy. Think back to the days of Hefty Lefty. I don't know if you saw his documentary on ESPN. Holy shit.
Who?
Hefty Lefty. He played a little bit, and I think he played for Ole Miss. He was a monster quarterback.
With the arena guy?
Yeah.
He was at Kentucky, I think.
He was at Kentucky. Broke both of those legs.
That's me snoring.
I don't care. Sorry, Tom and I are actually talking football.
Tim Tebow as well. He was one of the last great left-handed quarterbacks.
It was his birthday recently.
Kellen Moore was with the Cowboys, but I believe he's
Left-handed
coaching now.
quarterbacks, goodbye.
Steve Young, he was great.
Yeah.
Boomer Esiason was a great lefty.
Don't bring up Boomer Esiason.
You don't like Boomer? That's a cool name.
It was almost 40 years ago.
40? No, it wasn't.
It was 30.
It was like
plus.
the 80s.
Right, early 80s.
Yeah, that's true.
Right,
Yeah, you
God
forgot.
damn it, I forgot how old I was.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's like 10 years ago,
Yeah.
you bitch.
You idiot.
God. We're getting old.
Well, no, you're getting old.
You're like a year younger than me.
And that's why I can happily say that you're getting old and I'm
You
not.
30 yet, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay.
31.
How old are you? 31?
32.
You're 32. You're older than these guys?
Yeah.
You old fuck.
Josh is the same age as him.
Oh, you're younger than them?
Yeah.
Is that right? Oh, look at that. Learn
How old are
something
you,
new.
Tom? Tim?
26.
Yeah.
No, I'm 30.
Damn, you're old.
Not as old as you. That's
True.
all that matters. Guys, that's all I have. NFL, I'm interested. This week is normally the real second week of the preseason. This is where you see, normally the first 2 quarters, at least everyone,
Yeah.
quarter and a half at
It's
least.
changed.
Week 3 will be a half.
Aaron Rodgers will play this week. He's not going to play week 3 or 4.
Is that playing week 3?
No, he won't. They won't let him. They didn't let him do it last year. Pittsburgh usually lets their Ben Roethlisberger play week 2, but he's got a concussion protocol, so he probably won't play, and he's not going to play week 3 or 4. So the NFL's changing.
Colts play Monday night next week. It's pretty exciting.
Andrew Luck hopefully will play 5 snaps.
He played a full quarter against
Look
Seattle.
good.
Look
Look
good.
good.
Well,
He's
the
not
mustache.
starring the new Terminator movie. That dude's 26-inch
Well,
python.
I
You
saw
see him
I-
shirtless?
I saw you shared it. That the reporter said that he looked like Uncle Rico. That was hilarious.
Oh, yeah. He's
I
a cool guy.
I
I
have to
do.
pee. Can we wrap this up?
I got to pee, too.
I really have to pee.
I don't really care about you people. I do like that. He doesn't take himself too seriously. I'm a big
No.
fan of that. And what's that Twitter account that you like so much?
Was it Captain Andrew Luck?
Yeah,
The
super
Civil
funny.
War
Oh, yeah.
general? Shit's so
If you
funny.
like some satirical Andrew Luck speaking in like World War One,
No, it's a Civil War type shit.
Yeah,
All right.
so
it's fantastic. Look it up.
my
It's great.
dearest mother.
Yeah, there's a couple videos of him reading it. It's so
Is it
funny.
really?
Guys, that's all we have for you today. Again, we are Pony Keg Sports. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Pony Keg Sports. Make sure to send us any emails that you have about the draft. Whatever's going on, that's fine. Send it to us. PonyKegSports@gmail.com. Follow Josh at Pony Keg Sports. You can follow Tom at Pony_Keg_Tom. Follow Mike at Mike R Agent. And you can follow me at Fight Talk Tim. Our sponsor is Rogue Energy. Delicious berry, cherry, fruity duty, doesn't matter. It's delicious. You don't need a Red Bull. You don't need any of that shit. Rogue Energy, that's what's for you. Until next time. Peace.
The strawberries taste like strawberries.